officially changed since we talked to you 24 hours ago? Anything?
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
A couple different meals that have been added to the schedule, I guess, in between. But yeah, we're continuing to work and having conversations with other clubs, and along with agents, just like yesterday. And you know, I feel like some are moving a little bit, and some, you know, there's an ebb and flow to it all. But yeah, we're continuing to work. We just this is some Major League Baseball meetings. Just met with Rob Manfred, gave us a bit of an update on the status of Major League Baseball. So there's a lot going on here, but it's all stimulating, exciting stuff.
People assume that you're here, so everyone's together. There's going to be trades, but as you pointed out yesterday, and others have pointed out before, even if it doesn't happen by tomorrow afternoon, you can still make moves in the next whatever month.
Business continues.
Yeah.
You know, the beauty of the winter meetings is just you've got, you know, your group here, along with just down the hallway, you've got other clubs that are conducting business as well, and having everyone together and throwing together different concepts and ideas and ways to improve your ball club. I mean, that's you know, there's a lot of motivation, but at the end of the day, it's about making a sound decision. So you're not going to force it just because you guys are out here. You want, you know, you're thinking about, you know, the 2024 club and certainly the seasons after.
Have discussions ramped up in the last 2 days because you guys are here, or has it been kind of the same?
I would say a little bit. They've ramped up a little bit. Not necessarily on the trade market, but I you know, free agency. I feel like there's you know, an upbeat to some of those conversations. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, you'll get to anything, but you're getting a little more specific and you're getting closer to perhaps getting something done.
You guys added a couple of starting pitchers in that deal with the Braves, but when it comes to starting pitching in general, you've talked about what a big need it is for you guys. In terms of volume, what is your strategy? Are you looking to add just a large number of guys and see who shows up at spring or see who shows out, I should say, at spring training, or is it more of go get some specific pieces to put into specific spots?
Yeah, well, we're looking to add multiple arms to our rotation, and certainly you never feel like you have enough depth when it comes to starting pitching. So, you know, you know, you're weighing players that have options to you know, help with that depth, whether it be at Charlotte or perhaps even at Birmingham. But there's different ways to go about it. But we're certainly looking to add. That is a high priority for us.
How are you looking at right field this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, we've got certainly have internal options. You know, just like other areas around the diamond, defense is certainly something that we're focusing on. And you know, there's once again, we're having conversations, whether it be with other clubs or with free agents, and finding ways to improve, just like other positions as well. But you know, certainly outfield is a priority too.
What do you view as those internal options? Obviously, you talked to us about Colas at the GM meeting, saying he's probably likely to start in the minors. So what are those internal options in right field?
Well, yeah, I mean, you brought up Oscar, and I think the best thing for him is to be at Charlotte. Like, you know, do I see him being down there the whole season? Hopefully not. We know what he's capable of doing. You know, we've had Gavin Sheets out there, and he's showed production. You know, offensively, we've asked a lot of him to play outfield, and he looks to be capable, but you know, it doesn't mean that we're not going to go out there and find ways to improve our defense as a whole. We're fortunate to have Louis Robert Benintendi is a sound defender. We think that he can get even better out there. So just to find a team of outfielders is something we're set out to do.
There were rumors tying you to a pitcher who, I guess, won the Korean League, Cy Young, MVP, whatever they call it. I don't know how much you can say on that, but what do you know about him, and what can you say about that, if anything?
Yeah, I'd prefer not to comment on any of these conversations. Yeah, we've got ongoing discussions with agents, and you know, just like anything else, there's an ebb and flow to it. So yeah, I saw the news of that, which you know, but I'd prefer not to comment on that.
When it comes to negotiating with some of these starting pitchers that you'd like to add, is there a challenge in that, in one, there's some uncertainty at the catcher position right now and what that will look like, and as well as pieces like Dylan Cease may or may not be in the rotation, and you don't know what you're building yet?
Yeah, I mean, we've got time. You know, we do have some sound defenders at the catching position. In terms of you know, a veteran presence or someone that's a little bit more seasoned, that's something that we're looking at. But in terms of conversations with some of these starting pitchers, their agents, It's come up in conversation, and we feel pretty good about what we have if we weren't able to do anything, but we're also looking to upgrade there, and we've proven that we've made some moves to improve our defense, so we've got momentum, and there's in terms of those conversations with those agents or players about improving the defense for them to make it an attractive place to play, there's faith that we're going to go out there and do that.
Fans are wanting to know where the moves are, not really this specifically with the White Sox, just throughout the whole league. Do you feel like there was this kind of this dam that's about to break, or once, say, Ohtani signs, a lot of these discussions that you're having might come to some kind of more fruition?
It's tough to really gauge what's holding it up. Obviously, there's bigger names like you're speaking about, Ohtani. There's only so much time in the day and energy that goes into some of these moves. So they're certainly focusing on something, but I do believe that the dam will break. Now, what's going to break that dam is a bit of an unknown, but I think something's holding it back.
You have the draft lottery coming up, and obviously you'd like the number 1 pick, but what is a high pick? If you end up top 2 or 3, what does that mean to the whole process you're going through right now?
It's a tremendous opportunity to add talent to the organization, and you certainly don't take that opportunity lightly, and to find someone that can come in and represent the White Sox and what we're about is something that we look forward to.
The inability to be in that lottery 2 years in a row with the new rule, does that come up in conversations when you guys figure out a direction this offseason?
We don't factor that in too much. The cards are dealt, and you just make adjustments along the way. And listen, we're trying to improve our ball club, and to focus on what we're going to pick in next year's draft is not something that our sights are on too much. But that's certainly something that can be factored in, and we'll see what happens not only, I guess, tonight, but also next year with our season and how productive we can be.
You've talked so much about improving the defense this winter, and obviously you've made additions already. Folks are expecting more in that regard. How do you get defensive improvement from guys that you already have?
Well, that comes down to the coaching and certainly the preparation and the information that we're given to our players. When it comes to defensive play, it's understanding the game plan of the pitcher. It's having focus for 9 innings plus, and having that high expectation that this is really important to our ball club's success. So you set that expectation for those players, and look for ways to improve it along the way.
You were asked yesterday, and been asked a couple of times, about a term to kind of characterize what the plan is, and the word rebuild seems like you guys are kind of avoiding that. Is there a reluctance to call it a rebuild? Because there's obviously a big part of that.
Sure, to really find the appropriate word at this point is I think it's premature, but I will say that based on the upper level talent that we have, the talent that we have on this ball club, I don't think it's going to be a dramatic lift to get us to where we need to be.
What do you think that it's that you can compete next year with, or what is the goal next year in terms of competing in the division?
Yeah, we expect to be better than we were this past year. I've said it before, we're fortunate to be in the AL Central. Everyone has their challenges within their club, and they're looking to upgrade, their team, and we're doing the same thing. And, it's important for our players, everyone part of the organization, to go out there and find ways to improve, and go out there, starts with game 1, trying to win that one, and just adding to the win column.
It's a big ask to go from 61 and 101 to whatever it takes to 500. That's a large climb, right?
Well, that's why we're here, and we've got our group, and why we wake up every day trying to improve the club.
We had the chance to talk to speaking of the group, Josh, a little earlier today. Just what have you noticed about him since the few months that you had him involved with the program as well?
Yeah, his evaluations of players is excellent. When it comes to coaching hires, whether it be on the major league side, minor league side, front office, his input has been very valuable. He's experienced both as a player in the front office. He's been part of an organization that had recent success. And we talk about when you talk about an organization that didn't have many wins, and then they climbed fairly quickly, and obviously found their way to the World Series. His opinions and his evaluations and his input is very important to us based on what he was just able to do with the Diamondbacks.
Whether it's him or Brian, Gene, Paul, you emphasize bringing in guys from outside the organization to provide kind of some different perspectives. What have some of the fruits of that been so far? Have you already been like, the White Sox are doing things differently because of these guys now?
Well, when it comes to Bannister, with the successes that he's had with both, whether it be with the Red Sox, San Francisco Giants, he's a proven winner when it comes to player acquisition and development. So when it comes to the pitching acquisition front, he's done a deep dive and looks for attributes to help a major league staff or a minor league system. And whether it be the acquisitions that we had with the Atlanta Braves, he's certainly shared his input there, and we're doing the same with free agents or any trade that pops up. And then Gene, he's got a tremendous ability to gather information on players and staff. He's got a strong network. He does deep dives, and his experience as multiple organizations is valuable. Certainly here, and then you add Paul Yanish to our group on the farm director front that just came from the college game. Experience the minor league journey and the major league journey, and having his fresh perspective from the amateur side as well is valuable. And when you speak of having diversity of thoughts and ideas within a front office, I think we're in a pretty good position based on the personnel that we have.
You said to Daryl's question, maybe not a big lift or as big of a lift to get to where you guys want to be. Does that inform your acquisitions? We've seen around the game, when teams embark on kind of a new strategy, maybe it's acquiring guys who are in the lower levels of the minor leagues. Do you guys approach it as get guys that are closer to major league ready?
Certainly, when you're talking about short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals, every acquisition hopefully hits one of those buckets in some way, somehow. Whether someone's at the lower minor leagues or knocking on the door at the major league level, we're looking to find talent somehow, some way. There's certainly value in prospect capital, so to speak, to help you, whether it be in future trades or help your major league club immediately. So, there's certainly different ways to evaluate this, but in terms of level of the acquisition, we're open to anything.
We were talking about the draft lottery and top picks. The young man you drafted last week, I know his name, Jacob Gonzalez. What does, obviously the numbers are a little skewed because he played all year, then has the pressure of being the top pick and then coming in. But what do you see from him just at the early stages, both defensively and offensively?
Well, for one, defensively, he's a sound defender. He's got good hands, handles he's got that presence at shortstop. He's got a clean exchange and a strong arm. Certainly those are skills that you look for at the middle infield position. Offensively, he was a very productive college player. He was a little inconsistent in this at the Kannapolis level. His instructionally was excellent. Made some physical adjustments that we knew that probably needed to happen, but we also wanted him to get comfortable in professional baseball. So we feel like we're heading in the right direction with Jacob.
You hear people talking about Colson. I know you like what he's done in shortstop, and I know in the past for the Sox they've let a guy stay at a spot until they've shown they can. But do you think about that when he's coming up, that this is a guy who probably could play third too, that kind of thing?
Well, that's the value of drafting up the middle or acquiring up the middle players, because there's something special about being a shortstop on a diamond. Usually they can shift over to second base comfortably, right, go to third base, based on their offensive profile. So the more players that we feel like can handle up the middle is going to make us more athletic long-term for our club.
You've painted a picture of being open to pretty much any kind of deal. Would you guys be willing to pay some of the salary of a player that would be going elsewhere in a trade if it meant that you guys would be getting the right package that you wanted back?
Yeah, we're open-minded. We certainly are. Once again, you may have to be creative with any acquisition, and we've considered moves like that. Obviously, it's got to make sense for both sides.
We asked about Santos about a month ago. Any update on his progress?
He's doing really well. He just had a check-in with our doctors. He's out in Arizona. He's asymptomatic, and he's just begun his throwing program. The feedback's been really strong.
Is Shaw a guy you would bring back, Brian?
Shaw did a very nice job, certainly down the stretch. Took the ball regularly, and if you look at his numbers for certainly the last month, that's someone that can be very valuable to a bullpen. He's a professional. We had success with him. We're certainly open-minded to something like that.
Does that update on Santos put him ready for spring training without restriction, you think?
We're still going to be pretty measured. He's just starting his throwing program. Time will tell. It's a little too early to know exactly how we'll handle him in spring training.
Is there a possibility that he could remain on the comeback trail even by the time the season starts? Or
yeah, the goal is certainly for him to be on the opening day roster, and that's the expectation right now.
We all silly like the mayor.